Good evening, friends. Welcome back to the Castro Valley News live show. The Tuesday night thing that we have done for 55 episodes now. So, roughly for 55 weeks, we have been meeting on Facebook and doing this show and talking about events and happenings in our town. If you're not familiar with the show, what we do is kind of like an old school radio show. It is audio only. There is no video. I might do something like this every so often and give you a little peek of what's happening here. But audio only is what we do, so you have a blank screen so we can basically just talk like an old school radio show. Without further ado, let's jump into the roll call, and I see Kimberly is listening. Good evening, Kimberly. Kimberly, have you been going bowling lately, and how have you been doing? What is your average? Also, I had the pleasure of meeting and talking with the folks at the bowling alley, I think it was last week, doing a story about the brass boar. There's an actual brass boar. So we will have a story about that in our next magazine coming up really soon. Good evening to Dennis. Dennis, thank you so much for your support last week and every other week. You are awesome and appreciated. Speaking of awesome and appreciated people, Eunice is listening. Good evening to you. So what we do every episode is we have a roll call where we can give shout outs to people who are listening. If you would like a shout out, feel free to post a comment on the thread and I will give you a shout out, and also gratitude to everyone who's listening to the show. So Kimberly, Dennis, and Eunice, good evening. Good evening, Darlene. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Kimberly is mentioning that she's been doing good at bowling, haven't been bowling very good lately. Maybe it's because you haven't been at it for a while, and with practice, I'm sure you can get back into the groove. Good evening, Bitu. I hope I said your name correct. And getting back to Kimberly's comment about bowling. Good evening, Elda. I hope you're doing well. Kimberly, when it comes to bowling, it's interesting because the more we practice, the better we get. But it seems like sometimes when we stop for a little while, we get not good for a while. And I used to go to the village bowling alley with friends almost every Friday or Saturday for the midnight bowling thing that they did. And yeah, if we missed a few weeks, we got rusty, but we would come back and practice and get right back to playing well. Good evening to Jill, and good evening to Brian. Brian is on his drive home. Drive safe, sir. And again, we're just kind of doing the roll call that we do every week for folks that are listening. And it's kind of a cool way for everyone to know who's out there listening. By the way, my name is Robert. I am the host of the show. So if there's anyone else who would like a shout out for the roll call, please go ahead and post a comment. In addition to that, you can also post a question, comment, compliment, confession, anything that's on your mind. Feel free to bring it up. It would be wonderful to have more topics for the show. As you probably know, sometimes I just zip through the list that I have here and then we end up not going the entire duration of the hour. I am wondering, and in the meantime, good evening, Catherine. I hope you're doing well. I'm wondering where Bob is at, because I don't see Bob checking in. So I'm hoping that Bob is okay, because Bob is usually one of the first people to check in, but maybe there's an A's game tonight or a Sharks game or another local sports game. I'm not in the loop when it comes to I almost said the local sports. I'm not in the loop with local sports, which is another reason why Bob is so handy and extremely useful, because he's always got some local sports updates and information going on. So we're still kind of floating around the roll call. If you want a shout out, please post a comment and we'll give you a call out for the roll call. And in the meantime, I want to thank our wonderful, lovely, delightful moderator. He's fetching, he's learned, he's wised. Thank you, sir. I won't mention his name because I know he likes to stay behind the scenes. Good evening to Nathan. I hope you're doing well. Pammy has a comment here that her brother Doug Hall, previous owner of Doug's Place, died 27 years ago. Feeling emotional. He was such a great guy and loved his customers at Doug's Place. I have heard nothing but wonderful things about your brother, Pam. Never met him, but like I said, I heard a lot of wonderful things about your brother from, I believe it was Karen at Crayons. I had a conversation with her about Doug. So, Pam, my heart goes out to you on this day. I can't imagine the emotions that you're going through. So, giving you a virtual hug. Thoughts and prayers go to you. Good evening to Stephen. Stephen is in the house. Good evening, Micaiah. Micaiah? I do this every week. Good evening to you. Batu is mentioning love their food, and I'm guessing that's Doug's. Doug's is good. If you are looking for breakfast in Castro Valley, you've got some options, but Doug's got it going on. Good people as well. And again, if you are listening and you'd like a shout out, we're still doing the roll call here. Feel free to post a comment. And Micaiah, I think it's Micaiah. Correct me if I am wrong. Good evening to you. I think, do you own the shop on San Carlos? If memory serves correct, I think that's who you are. And thank you for your support. I feel like I just missed someone in the roll call here. One more time, we're just doing the roll call here. So if you want to shout out, definitely post a comment and I'll give you a shout out. I'm really wondering where Bob is tonight, because Bob is, like I said, Bob is usually first to get the shout out. Oh, right on, Micaiah. Thank you. Thank you so much for your support. I love your shop. So if there's nobody else who wants a shout out, we can go on to giving a special thank you to our sponsor. And if you just missed it, Micaiah is the owner of Restore, and is it? Oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of their shop. I'm so embarrassed. Is it? It's Restore and Rework, correct? On San Carlos, the super cute, quaint, wonderful, kind of antique-y shop. There's two shops on San Carlos. There's AJ's Attic, and there's Restore and Rework. Oh, I hope that's not Karen's old shop. But either way, regardless, if you're looking for like cute antiques and just general vintage items, definitely go down San Carlos. There's those two shops that are down there. They're both owned by, okay, I'm glad I got it right. It's Restore and Rework, and they're wonderful folks. They're on San Carlos Avenue. It's the street behind Castro Valley Boulevard, on the other side where the Valley Inn is and the Floatery is. It's a little side street. Definitely check out those two shops. They're great people. They've got a lot of fun stuff. AJ's Attic, Restore and Rework. Shout out to San Carlos Avenue. I am missing people. in the roll call. Good evening, Darren. Darren is saying her shop is okay. Her husband is very handsome, and his dog is too. Uh, I appreciate your sense of humor, Darren, and I definitely appreciate your support. You guys have supported the show and myself and our magazine in many ways by listening and by the times that you've bought ads. I really appreciate your support. Good evening to Denise. Denise is in the house. Let's see who else. Darren is also mentioning that AJ is awesome too. AJ's Attic is owned by a friend of mine. His name is Arnie Gordon. And he's one of those guys that really, really cares about Castro Valley. I know I say that about everyone, but Arnie is also one of the people who is helping Castro Valley News organize Cruise Night. If you haven't heard, we are extremely excited to have Cruise Night come back this year, August 28th. There'll be no road closures, and the event itself will be on Castro Valley Boulevard between Stanton Avenue and Forest Avenue. So it's a big stretch of Castro Valley Boulevard. There is no registration. There's no fees. Bring out your classic and exotic car and come out and cruise and shop local. Spend your money at local businesses. That's really kind of, it's one of the big things that we try to promote with Cruise Night, is that people stop at our local businesses and shop and spend money and support our neighbors who are these business owners. And also it's incredible to see these beautiful cars, these beautiful classic cars. It's one thing, and I'll give you full disclosure, I'm an old car guy. I own a 69 Ford. I love that. It's my everyday car. I grew up in classic cars. It's fantastic to go to a car show and see them parked, but these cars were meant to be driven, and it's kind of a throwback to a different day when you would see all these cars out cruising and people enjoying each other's company on the boulevard or wherever people happen to be cruising. So we did have 2 previous cruise nights, and the first one I think in 2009 was, or was it 2010? It's all a blur to me. The first one was fantastic. The second cruise night, year before last, of course there was no cruise night last year because of the pandemic, but our last event was nuts. There were so many cars, so many people having fun. We'll have DJs on the boulevard pumping out oldies music. We'll have some booths over at Tire Choice, which it used to be Certified Tire next to Safeway. There'll be booths there from the sheriffs, from CHP, from paramedics. We'll have some t-shirts and some other stuff for sale, some other goodies, and some freebies and stuff like that. So it's really, Denise is mentioning she has a 55 Chevy Bel Air turquoise and Indian white. You're making my heart aflutter, because my dad had, if it's the station wagon, that's the car I grew up in. He also had the 2-door, the smaller 2-door that was white on red. So those are beautiful cars, and those are cars I grew up in. I mean, yeah. So it's really an opportunity for the community to come together, have some fun, check out some beautiful cars, get to know your neighbors, and like I said, definitely shop local, support local businesses that hopefully will be open and have cool things. We are trying to make it happen with the folks at the Chabot Cinema to show Bullet for free that day. Last year, or a different cruise movie, we did, no, we did Bullet last year. What is wrong with me? We did Bullet last year, and then the year before, not last year, the last cruise night. Sorry, guys. Like I said, it's all a blur. But our first year, we showed American Graffiti, and it was free at the theater, at the Chabot Theater. And then we showed Bullet the last cruise night, which was year before last. So definitely, if you can, mark your calendar, come out and check out the cars, get to know your neighbors, say hello, have fun. It's going to be August 28th, 6 to 11 p.m. And we plan the event to be the same weekend as the Good Guys Finals in Pleasanton. So we get the cream of the crop of a lot of their cars. They come from Pleasanton to Castro Valley to have a blast. So that's cruise night, guys, August 28th. We'd love to see you come out and enjoy the community. I know a lot of people are really itching to be out at an event, and hopefully by August we'll be good to go. Denise is mentioning both classic movies. I agree. They're perfect for classic cars. Sue is mentioning she will agree that Heart on San Carlos, the family business for 4 generations, is right off San Carlos. R&J Quick Clean family started in the California State Hatchery. And Sue, you are related to my good friend and someone that I love. You are related to Lucille Lorge, and I've known Lucille for lots of years, and I can't say anything except I love Lucille. She's our official historian here in Castro Valley, and she is a treasure. I love talking to her. I love seeing all of her historical items. I love hearing her recollections about the hatchery and all of the places and faces and things that happened in our town. So Sue, if you get a chance, I haven't spoken to Lucille in a while, please tell Lucille that Robert Souza sends his very best, and I look forward to talking to her soon. So with that said, let me make sure I'm not missing anybody in the roll call. I'm really vexed as to where Bob is tonight, and I'm purposely going through the comments to see if Bob has checked in, because Bob is usually all over the show. So Tim is mentioning we took our 1970 K5 Orange Blazer out 2 years ago and had a blast. This year I will take my Project 53 chopped Mercury. Whoa. Tim, I can't wait to see your 53 Mercury. Those are beautiful cars. Oh man, that's a beautiful car. I love that. My dad had one of those a lot of years ago. True story. So my dad was out drinking, and he drove the 53 Mercury into the wall, I think on Lake Chabot Road, and just walked away and left it there. So that is a beautiful car, Tim. I look forward to seeing it. And Sue is Lucille's daughter, and I didn't want to make an assumption of your family relation, but thank you so much, Sue, for passing along my messages to your mom. Your mom is awesome. Your mom is great. And Ron is mentioning that he'll be there in his 55 Nomad. I can't wait to see that. That's another one of my favorite cars. Yeah, we've had so many amazing, beautiful cars that came out, just wonderful. And to me, it's just fun to drive my little, my classic. It's not a lot to look at, but I love it, and it's fun, and it's nostalgic, and it seems like a lot of people, there's a lot of emotion and memory attached to classic cars. I was just out today, and a gentleman pulled up beside me and asked me if my car was a 1969, and it is. And he had mentioned that he owned a 4-door version of my car, and it's that warm and fuzzy nostalgia associated with classic cars that is just really cool. And if you own a classic car, you know how fun it is to own a classic car and to drive a classic car. There's the simplicity of a classic car is is appealing to me in many ways because they're so easy to fix. They're straightforward. I'm not a fan of all the processors and computers of new cars. I know there's a lot of convenience and there's a lot of comfort to a lot of the computer things that are in new cars, but I've been in cars where the processors have gone sideways, and they're not a problem that I want to have again. Um, to be honest with you, when my heater core goes out, it's 4 screws and 2 hoses right on the firewall under the hood, and it's basically it's a $50 part, and it was a 10-minute project. A new car, if your heater core goes out, it's basically you have to take the entire dash out and the majority of your car apart. But I digress. I just love the simplicity. I love the elegance. I love the fact that they're huge, and I know that doesn't align with a lot of people's values when it comes to cars, but that's just me. So anyways, wow, that was like a half hour on cruise night. We'd love to see you. Bring your classics out. Everyone is welcome. There's no year requirement. I think we had a bunch of Ferraris out one year. I love that we attracted a lot of the lowrider clubs. The lowriders killed the show year after year. I love seeing them. So definitely, even it doesn't matter what you have. I mean, bring out your Pinto. It doesn't matter. There's a blue Pinto that goes around town, and it's a beast. It's a beautiful looking beast. I love it. So anyways, that's cruise night. Let's get to our sponsors before I get all warm and gushy and gooey about classic cars. I just love them. I just love them. It's fun. So definitely come out. It's free. Shop local. Get to know your neighbors and just have a blast. Special thanks to tonight's sponsor, Forester.org, and that's FORESTR.org. They are a local nonprofit with the mission to reforest urban communities, and you can learn more about what they do at Forester.org, FORESTR.org. And with that said, also, I think I mention this every week, but the folks at Forester are the people who invited me out with them. Forester also, they do a lot of cleanups at the freeway off and on ramps in Castro Valley. So there was a Saturday I went and hung out with these great folks and did some trash picking up at the freeway exchange over by Burger Island, which is Strobridge. And the experience affected me so that it inspired me to come out in my area and dedicate some time, which I do just about every morning, even if it's 10-15 minutes. I dedicate some time during my morning to pick up some garbage. There's a large open area where my office is, so I go there and I pick up some trash. And I've noticed the more that an area is maintained, and this may not be applicable to every area, but the more that you keep on top of maintaining and picking up garbage, the less garbage appears. It's kind of that there's something called the broken window theory, that if someone sees a broken window, it becomes kind of a magnet for more blight. And I think there is some truth to that. But from my experience, it's very satisfying to me to for the lack of a better term, make a little ripple of a wave, to clean up, and hopefully maybe other people are inspired as well. I have seen on their Facebook page that they are gaining momentum with more volunteers who are going out and cleaning up. And you can probably see with your own eyes, there's no shortage of garbage at the side of the road. So, and I'm not trying to preach. I'm not trying to twist your arm and tell you to go and do this. But if you feel comfortable, definitely go do it. And hang on a second here. Okay. Sorry, my computer is not working here. I'm trying to check something out here. Sorry, guys, just responding to something here. Yes, I just received some information from East Bay Regional Parks. If you guys did not know, last Tuesday, while we were talking on the show here, we got some information in regards to a body that was discovered at Lake Chabot Regional Park on April 26th. There hasn't been a lot of information going out that has gone out. Sorry, since then, and a friend of mine asked me about it, and I was also wondering. So I reached out to East Bay Regional Parks Police this morning. So I'm going to give you guys the exclusive kind of scoop on what's going on, and kind of some unofficial information. So April 26th, which was, I think, I don't know what day that was, but on April 26th, there was someone who was at the park, and they were walking around, and they happened to see a decomposed arm that was protruding from a shallow grave, and the Alameda County Coroner's Office responded. The sheriffs were there. So what's happening is an ongoing investigation. But the updated information that I have for you guys at this time is the coroner has not reported a cause of death. And let me give you the full context here. Everything I'm giving to you right now is from a gentleman named Alan Love, who is a support services captain with the East Bay Regional Park District Police Department. So this is all official here. So where we're at right now, like I said, I believe it was a hiker or a person at the park on April 26th noticed a partially decomposed arm and hand protruding from a shallow grave, and the coroner has not reported a cause of death, and the investigation is ongoing. Specifics about the location or potential evidence items are not being shared. The Regional Parks Police Department is investigating the incident as a suspicious death. So there's your official word. That incident is being investigated as a suspicious death. So the victim is described as a white female adult with light hair. It is believed the victim is over the age of 50. So I'll give you that one more time. I will share this to the page shortly after the show, but I'll give you that one more time. The coroner has not reported a cause of death in regards to the deceased person that was found at Lake Chabot Regional Park on April 26th. The investigation is ongoing. Specifics are not being released in regard to the exact location or any evidence. They are investigating the incident. Sorry, my tongue got lazy there. The East Bay Regional Parks Police Department are investigating the incident as a suspicious death. The victim is described as a white female adult with light hair. Believed the victim is over the age of 50. Anyone with information on the incident or the victim's identity is asked to call the East Bay Regional Park District Police Department tip line at 510-690-6521. That number, one more time, is 510-690-6521. So there is your exclusive information for this show. Hang on. I'm just trying to cross stuff off the list here. Denise is asking, is Keith's transmission still open? From what I saw yesterday, they were open. A couple people are asking about what's going on with AM/PM on Center and Grove. Boarded up and shut down, fenced off today. My assumption would be that they're closing, but I will see if I can get any more information for you guys. Let me see. Just checking here. I'm really trying to find out what's up with Bob, because Bob's usually here. And also, while we're on the topic of people who are usually on the show that haven't been on the show for a while, and nobody's asked, which is kind of odd, because every show it seems like someone asks about Don at One Bad Apple, and I think Don's got other things going on in his life, and he hasn't joined us for a while. But I love Don. I've known Don for a lot of years. I met Don when I worked at the library on Redwood Road a lot of years ago. Don's an awesome guy. If you're not familiar with who he is, Don Scialpi owns One Bad Apple Records, and talking about things that are cool in Castro Valley, how cool is it that we have a legitimate collector's vinyl record shop here on Castro Valley Boulevard in our town. They are located at, this is not an ad, by the way, I'm just giving a shout out to Don because I love him. He's at 2576 Castro Valley Boulevard, One Bad Apple Records. If you are wondering why Don is not appearing on the show anymore or in the comments, you can call him and ask him when he's open. 510-889-4909, and tell Don that he's awesome, and go there and support your local independent record shop. Okay, that's that. Did that. Oh, sorry guys. 510-331-9112 if you would like to text a message or call. If you text something in, a comment or a complaint, confession, topic idea, I won't give your name. I'll just mention the area code and whatever topic or question that you bring up. But 510-331-9112, I will absolutely keep you anonymous unless you wish otherwise. Then I'll mention your name. But 510-331-9112. Bit 2 is asking if the Lake Chabot Park is open, then why the road to the Nike room is closed. It could be that they're doing construction up there. I'm not 100% certain if the road up to the Nike room is, I don't know if that's a public road or not, because at the top of that road is where the park's police department is, and I think part of their fire department equipment is up there, and they have a maintenance garage up there as well. So I'm not again, Batu, I wish I had a straight answer for you, but I'm not sure it's a public road, so it could be closed at the discretion of the parks department. If that road is closed, that could be the area where those remains were found. I don't know where they were at, but I hope that addressed your question, and I wish I had more information for you. Denise says she's hoping that it was one of the girls that disappeared in the late 80s. That is something that I kind of heard off the record, that it could be a missing person, and it definitely, it could be likely that it's a missing person. So hopefully the Parks Department police can get to the bottom of that situation and maybe bring some sort of understanding or closure to the family of the victim, and hopefully maybe there's some evidence where they can bring a suspect or suspects to justice. Okay. One more time, 510-331-9112 if you would like to bring up a topic, or if you have a question or comment, confession, It's up to you where this show goes. Since no one's calling in, since no one's commenting, I do have another topic that I wanted to bring up and something that I wanted to share real quickly. This is Teachers Week, and I'm sure we all have a favorite teacher, someone that had an incredible impact on our lives. And teachers really are, they're heroes. They need capes. And since this is Teachers Week, I wanted to share with you a teacher that really changed my life in a lot of ways. I went to a continuation high school. I wasn't into school. I didn't want to go to school. I wasn't very social, to the point where I was kind of antisocial. But the school itself, it was a small campus and an even smaller student body. I think there was maybe 100, 150 students. There was a teacher that, I'm trying to figure out how she reached me, but she did. And she really engaged me in a lot of ways. And I have a best friend who went to the same school and was in the same class, and we shared the same perspective when it comes to, I'll mention her name, Miss McCormick. I really want to thank Miss McCormick for everything she did to open my eyes to see the potential that I had, to see that I was actually intelligent in aspects and subjects that compensated for the things that I wasn't completely intelligent in. I had horrible time with math and still do, and I have no use for math. Numbers to me, I mean, that's what calculators are for, right? But Miss McCormick really worked on my strengths and focused on those and engaged me, and every student that I saw that was in her class, she just had this way that she worked with you and focused on your strengths. And it really, I wouldn't have graduated if it wasn't for her. And I know she's not listening. I might send her the link to this to express to her the profound effect that she had on me, because I really wanted nothing to do with high school at all. But yeah, definitely our admin is saying share a shout out to your favorite teachers, and we'll I'll read them out. So our admin is saying first grade Miss Brown. We'll never forget her. And it seems like those teachers that do that, and I'm not saying that all teachers don't try, but there are those pearls on the beach that make that difference. And given the fact that it was a continuation high school, there were actually teachers who I remember would just basically sit in class and there was no instruction, absolutely nothing. There were no plans, there were no books. And actually, funny thing, that was the math class. But I got a passing grade in math because I sat there and read the newspaper and I didn't start trouble. So, and I won't mention his name, but that really happened. But I think every week should be Teachers Week. And Joan is mentioning Miss Marjorie Remington, Castro Valley High choir teacher. And let me mention, there was a music teacher in elementary school, Miss Cooley, who was so passionate about music. She really inspired me to think about music and get interested in music. Not particularly making noise on an instrument, because that's something that I was never good at. And also, Brenda is mentioning my son wants to shout out Miss Herring, 5th grade teacher at Marshall. And Denise is mentioning Mr. Lucas and Mrs. Foster. So definitely this is something that is resonating with you guys, that these teachers, the teachers that really work with you on your strengths, they make a hell of a difference. And I wish, I wish teachers would get more credit for the incredible impact that they have on a lot of people's lives. Catherine is saying her 5th grade teacher, Sister Mary Claude, St. Peter's, San Francisco. Beautiful church. If I'm thinking of the correct location. But again, it seems like every week should be Teachers Week, but at least they got a week and not a day. But yeah, there are, the teachers are just unsung heroes, amazing, amazing people. If you've got a shout out for a teacher, definitely post it up, and I will convey your shout out. I will amplify your shout out. So that's Teachers Week. And I am really wondering where Bob is at. I'm gonna go through the comments and see if he posted anything. Oh yeah, yep. Sorry guys. Our moderator is reminding me of the topic that I mentioned that we were gonna touch base on here. Yes, let's talk about the vaccine. From what I am hearing, Sue is mentioning there are so many incredible teachers in Castro Valley. She's a substitute teacher for 20 years now. Thank you, Sue, for all that you do. Teachers need capes and a big S on the front of their shirt. So let's touch on the vaccine for a minute here. So I'm hearing that there's 56.3% of the U.S. has been vaccinated. Are you guys vaccinated? Did you get the shot? Is this something that is important to you? I'm just curious because it seems like, let me shift gears here. Joan says, want to give kudos to the amazing folks in the CV Free Cycle group, kind and generous. I think I've checked out some of those, and your description is completely accurate. There's a lot of kind and generous people there. Oh, Bob is in the house. Good evening, Bob. And I was right. Bob is watching the A's. Bob, you missed the breaking news about the body that was found at Lake Chabot. But I will post that information later. Welcome to the show, Bob. I'm glad that you checked in, and I hope you're doing good. Ronald Wurtenberg, I want to give you a tip of the cap. Bob is shooting out greetings from North Carolina. I have known Bob a bunch of years. I mean, I've known Bob. Yeah, I've known Ronald for a bunch of years, and you're good people. You're missed here in Castro Valley, Ronald. But we're talking about the vaccine here for a minute because we've got a couple minutes left of the show. So Batu is mentioning, got your first shot, waiting for the second. So what I'm hearing, like I said, I think it's 56.3% of the U.S. has been vaccinated. It seems like the whole desire to get vaccinated has lost steam, because it seems like a couple weeks ago, it was a constant cycle of people trying to find an appointment, wanting to get an appointment, can't get an appointment, and now it seems like that's a bit more available to people. And from what I'm hearing, it's not really happening. I have a friend who went and got her shot recently, her first dose, and she went to the Coliseum, the big thing that they've got there at the Coliseum. And when she got there, there were literally 4 people getting their shots, and the parking lot was a yellow cone, yellow cones everywhere, hundreds and hundreds of yellow cones, tons of staff, 4 people getting their shots. Amy is saying she is done with both of her shots, and that's wonderful. The thing with the shot, folks, is, and the same thing that goes with the masks, and I know it's a subject third rail, conversational third rail to bring up masks and the shot, but if you're vaccinated, if you're wearing your mask, you are protecting other people. And Amy is mentioning Pfizer at Coliseum was great. Yeah, go get your shot. But with that said, I'm not going to tiptoe around this. If you get your vaccine, you wear your mask, you're protecting other people, and you're also protecting yourself. John has a comment about what we're talking about. Teachers are the core of a student's outcome. All the administration, okay, that's administration doing different things, but yes, teachers are at the core of students' outcome. Being a teacher has to be an incredibly for lack of a better term, stressful, because there's so much responsibility. Because like John said, you're at the core of the student's outcome. So it's a heavy responsibility. Getting back to the vaccines, I also heard, on top of Batu is asking, what's the reaction of the second shot? Had hard time with the first for many days. Batu, the second shot, I have heard mixed messages from that. I've heard from people that they got like flu and cold symptoms, like aches and drowsiness. And then I've heard from other people that basically they got the chills for maybe 10, 15 minutes. So Amy is mentioning she was sleepy, but not much else. I can tell you this, I did get the Johnson & Johnson a couple weeks ago, more than a couple weeks ago. And basically the next day I got sleepy like Amy did. I did get some aches and pains. I got some serious chills, and then I got a weird, some hot situations, like I was burning. But outside of that, there were no issues. And Denise is correct. The children are next for the vaccine. And Bob is mentioning one of the best teachers at Chabot is Miss Emanuel. Known her since she and his eldest daughter were in kindergarten together at Proctor in the 80s. So there you go. Teachers have a profound effect on us into adulthood. There are a lot of great teachers who definitely have that magic, that approach, that's something, and they change your lives. Thank you, Miss McCormick. I would not have graduated had it not been for you. I would have not followed my passion for words, and I would have never interned and done this wacky journalism thing that I appear to be doing. Joan brings up a great point. Love our teachers and don't want to forget to give a shout out to Castro Valley Unified support staff, custodians, maintenance staff, attendance clerks, etc. Yes, every part of the machine that keeps our schools moving is important, and I totally agree. So getting back to the vaccine thing, 53.6, or is it? Yes, 53.6% of the U.S. has the vaccine. And I know there's people worried about the toxins and the side effects and the this and the that. And you know, if you get vaccinated, you'll be protecting other people from getting it, hopefully. And the thing of it is that when it all boils down to it, you don't want to be that person who passes it on to someone who's going to pass it on to someone who's uh, got immune problems or health problems, and that person could get seriously sick. I know there's a lot of argument going on in regards to how serious COVID-19 is, but irregardless to that, COVID-19 is serious to people who are older, people who have immune system difficulties, people with pre-existing conditions. For me, I don't want to pass it on to someone like that who might pass it on to someone who can get sick and die. So that's my approach. Linda, good evening to you. Linda Rourke is one of my favorite people in Castro Valley, and I know I say that about everyone. But Linda, if you don't know who Linda Rourke is the owner of Pete's Hardware. Linda does tons and tons of countless stuff for our community. Linda is one of those unsung heroes who deserves to be sung about. Linda is mentioning it has been a thought that if someone has a bad reaction with the first vaccine, it means that you may have had COVID and been asymptomatic. The second vaccine reaction will vary, but the people I know did not have a terrible reaction with the second one. Okay, so lots of good input, a lot of good information in regards to what happens when you get the vaccine. It really seems to be kind of a different story for everyone. Like I said, I got the Johnson & Johnson, and the side effects were not terrible. Like I said, I got the chills, I got hot, a little bit of body ache, and then also I got really drowsy. So it really just kind of felt like the flu, for the lack of a better description. So please, definitely, if you have the opportunity to get vaccinated, it's free. It's an opportunity for you to be a good human being and look out for your neighbors. I don't want to sound preachy, and I totally respect if your opinion is that you're against it. That's your right. So, hey guys, with that said, let me give you the cell phone number here one more time in case you want to call or text in. 510-331-9112. Let me see if there's any questions missing from the thread here. Looks like we're all up to speed. (510-331-9112). Comments, complaints, confessions, story ideas, topics to discuss. I have nothing left on the list, guys. So maybe I will close the show with a reminder to please shop local as much as you can. Things are opening up. A lot of businesses are being able to expand and increase their capacity. It's so important for us to shop local and support our neighbors who own the businesses in our community, places like Pete's Hardware, places like One Bad Apple Records, Del Cafe. The list goes on and on and on to the break of dawn. And if we don't step up and put our money where our mouth is now, these businesses that have been struggling through this whole pandemic, some of them may not make it. Some of them are just really hanging on. And please shop local and support them as much as you can. I know how easy and convenient it is to just buy all your stuff off Amazon. But if you take the time to shop local, you'll be helping your neighbors. Hey guys, we are just about up to an hour. Linda is mentioning support the local restaurants. And I agree wholeheartedly. We have so many wonderful restaurants that have been on that roller coaster of you can only do takeout, you can only do this, you can only do that. Kimberly is mentioning Hallmark is closed now, and yes, Bill was out there working like crazy, clearing out the rest of the fixtures, and yeah, Hallmark is closed after over 40 years. Denise is asking, do the same people own Del Cafe after all these years? It's still Sam. Go in and say hello to Sam. Because Del Cafe they've had a really difficult time during the pandemic. And like Linda had mentioned, please support the local restaurants. They've been on that roller coaster where they could only do takeout, they could only do stuff outside. Then they were closed again. And we have so many good restaurants in our town that deserve our support and patronage. I'll go down the list. Del Cafe, Denica's. I know I'm going to forget somebody. Aroma, iSushi. I don't want to forget anybody. Shout out to Vince over at Valley Java. Shout out to Cafe Rumi. Big shout out to the folks over at JP's, to the wonderful people at Rudy's Donuts, to the folks at to the Brill Brothers over at Southern Comfort Kitchen. Awesome guys, go check them out. Great food. I know I'm gonna forget someone. Boulevard Burger, Norman's Grill, Don Jose's. Linda mentioned JP's. Shout out to Nasir at JP's. Shop local, guys. We need to do what we can to make sure our business community remains vibrant and open. With that said, guys, that's about an hour. I want to thank you guys for your patience and me blathering on and on about our wonderful town, but it's wonderful, so it's really not blathering. You guys are awesome. We'll be doing this again next week at 7 p.m. We will have Roland Williams, who's the general manager at Castro Valley Sanitary District, and he will be answering questions and talking about the new proposed building that they have in the works at the corner of Castro Valley Boulevard and Center that the MAC denied, I think just last week. So he'll, if you have questions, we'll be posting something up looking for questions for the sanitary district in regard to that proposed building. I think it will be a valuable conversation to hear the plans for the building, the need in the community for the building, the opposition to the building, and all of that good stuff. So, hey guys, have a wonderful week. We'll see you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. right here. And as always, when the going gets weird, the weird turn pro. Thank you guys for being awesome. And yes, Catherine, happy Mother's Day to all moms. Happy, May the 4th be with you. Take care, guys.